Hey guys, this is Price the Producer with GlobalAudioTools.com. I have my beats available at PriceTheProducer.com. Be sure to come on down, check out my content, and show some support. I appreciate each and every one of you for doing so. I'm going to go ahead and bring you guys a sound design tutorial today on creative sound designing. Often today we have producers that I guess throw around the term sound designer very lightly, meaning they would go and download a couple of free drum kits, layer a couple of snares, and supposedly they have an all new sound, while that sound still contained original values from the original files that they used. It really doesn't work that way. In my professional opinion, that is not sound designing. That's more so sound manipulation to get the sounds punching the way that you want them to within your mixes. People have been doing that for decades, for a while, for a lifetime. I mean, people have been doing that forever now, where they layer certain kicks, certain snares, etc., to get their punch that they're looking for within their mixes. So that's pretty much all that you're doing. You're giving somebody supposedly a better usable file that'll punch better in your opinion. You know what I mean? So that's not sound designing. That's the only reason why I say that. Professionally speaking, a sound designer is someone who goes out and records brand new sounds, manipulates them to make them into something brand new, which is actually what we're gonna do today in this video. Some of you may be skeptical at this point simply because you may not know. So without further ado, what I want to go ahead and do is jump straight into the sound design part and get straight to it. For this video, I'm going to be using FL Studio 12, and I'm actually going to be using the stock everything. As you can see, it comes with the pulled up automatically. And when you open it by default, it has a kick, clap, a hi-hat, and a snare. For this video, I'm going to be using this hi-hat right here. I'm going to be using stock plugins that come within FL Studio, as well as one that you can download for free, and I recommend that you do, which is the dBlue Tape Stop plugin. I may use that one as well. I don't have it pulled up, but I will go ahead and pull that up during the video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight on into it. I'm going to use this hi-hat right here, the stock FL hi-hat. For all of you who are using FL Studio, you can go ahead and follow along with me. I'm sure this sounds very familiar to you. For those of you who are not using FL, the same concept can be applied to whatever tools you utilize within your productions. I don't know what plugins you're using, so I'm not going to go and venture off into that. I'm going to stick with what's important, which is a creative sound design for this tutorial. So as you can see right here, there's the hi-hat. What I want to go ahead and do is in FL Studio, it has a plugin called Edison. So I'm going to right click on that WAV file. How I got here was I actually just clicked on the hi-hat channel there, brings up the actual waveform. Right click and then you're going to want to hit edit, which brings up Edison. Now within Edison is where I'm going to do the sound designing, the core of my creative sound designing. So let me go and jump straight on into that. For basically, it's just all about creativity, in my opinion, and of course, a little bit more comes into that as far as knowing how to use equalizers, knowing what the knobs do on certain effects, etc. All that comes into play as well. But the bare bone minimum to be a good sound designer, you would want to be very creative with what you got. So remember, I'm using everything stock right now, and we're gonna make a really cool sound. And that much I can guarantee. So let's just go ahead and see what we can do. I'm going to highlight all of this so we can have that playing and loop it. Which sounds like that. Now within here, there's a bunch of different, as you can see right here, if we zoom in all the way, people would see that as waveform, but that's actually data. All of this holds information, which is what I want to capture within this hi-hat. Excuse me. Now, not every sound will have or will sound the same, but I guess for the sake of what I'm doing here, it'll pretty much have an identical effect type sound. So you may want to experiment with what sounds that you utilize. Again, this is just one way, one of many different ways with today's plugins and VSTs that are out there that you can sound design and make cool content. So hopefully you would take what you want and leave what you don't. So that's actually pretty cool. What I would like to do is make some sort of like a computerized like transformer effect using this area right here. using the harmonic content within this part of the file. So let me go ahead and switch the driver. What I want to do is record that audio straight into this playlist. So basically, if you're using a DAW, you're going to want to somehow get that audio recorded out of whatever it's playing. So for this instance, I'm using Edison to sample that hi-hat, which is coming from FL. I'm going to sample that into this playlist right here. And in my specific situation, I'm going to have to switch my driver. So you, on your end, you're not going to hear the recording until I switch back. I'll go ahead and play the audio back from what we recorded. Switch the audio driver to that one. And let's go ahead and hit record here. So I'm just kind of getting creative here with it, you know, capturing some cool stuff. And as you can see right here, everything that we just did right now, all of the automation and, you know, some would call it nonsense I was doing, is all recorded now for me to mess with, for me to play with, as you can see here. So what I want to go ahead and do is just open that up right there, make it a little bit bigger, and this is listen back so that way you at home can hear the audio. But let me switch back to my drivers. Okay, so here we go. This is what we captured. So I'm just kind of getting creative here with it, you know, capturing some cool stuff. So that actually captured some of my audio right there as well. What I would like to do is just trim out this area. We wouldn't need that, and start getting rid of the areas that you wouldn't want. I actually heard a cool, well, that I want this. This right here can be made into a cool little like transition rise effect, which I thought was pretty cool. So we may want to turn that into a one shot, and which I will go ahead and show you now for those of you at home. So for example, you can apply this concept to, like I said, any sound. Every sound will vary, I guess, as far as harmonic content. But again, like the atmosphere, the overall effect, the sound will be different. See, again, just experiment and see what you guys can come up with at home. Drop any comments below on sounds that you would like to share, and you know, we'll go ahead and check it out. But let me go ahead and make some cool little one shots, and just to demonstrate basically what type of sounds you can get when you're creative enough. So, but at this point, we've already took the stock hi-hat from FL Studio, and we have all this data to work with. I'm gonna start picking and choosing basically right now. So I'm just kind of getting creative here with it, you know. So for the most part, I have an idea of what I want to do for this specific sound. I know this may not be one of the best sounds ever, or a sound that you may use, you may or may not. However, I am just trying to get the point across on the creative sound design process. I took a simple hi-hat and made it into a completely different format, so to speak, a completely different sound, sorry. So now what I would like to do is basically, this is the fun part. Let's go ahead and see where this plays. Let's add this to a mixer. Say 10 right here. And now we can just start adding effects. So let's say I'm going to add stock effects so that way you guys at home can know the power of basically just knowing what to do here. So let's see. And this is the D-Blue. It's D-Blue Tape Stop plugin. It is a free plugin, and on my end, it may take like a minute or two to load. So I'm gonna fast forward this part of the video, and I'm gonna skip ahead to when it's already loaded up. So as you can see right here, we have the Tape Stop plugin pulled up. And what I would like to do is actually use some automation to trigger this basically into a downfall, kind of like a transition effect or a downfall type effect. It can be used for various different applications. So let's go ahead and create automation clip and simply bring this part up and see what kind of sound we get. See, so there you have it. That's a cool little downward spiral effect that I made simply out of the stock FL Studio hi-hat. That's a great example of what I'm trying to say. Let's see what it sounds like doubled with that. Adds a little bit of grit to it. I'm not sure if you heard the difference. And that file was just sitting there. Like, I mean, that's the creative part of sound designing, and it's very, very fun. I mean, you can get it's a world of its own, so to speak. All the audio that you've obtained, you may want to put them into a folder and then go and manipulate that when you're done. So, like, have fun obtaining good and brand new audio to use. When you're done obtaining that audio, you would then want to go back and process that to make some final cool, unique sounds. In this case, it'll be, well, like this one, for example. That's actually really, really good. I would leave it as is. I wouldn't want to add a reverb simply because what if the reverb that I chose wasn't the one that you were looking for the application that you're using in your beat? But yet this sample sounded really, really good like that, only if you had it dry. So sometimes less is more. In the example of, in this instance, I added just the trigger, the tape stop plugin. Fade out like that, I guess, just tape stop out slowly. And that's all that I did. I didn't add too much. I actually added a flanges too, the FL Studio. Yes, flanges effect. I'm not sure if you can see that right here. Excuse me, I have something in my throat. So yes, I use the FL Fruity flanges and the D-Blue Tape Stop plugin. I want to get that name proper so that way you guys know. Google that, D-Blue Tape Stop. Those are the only two plugins that I used to obtain that sound. Everything else was completely stock. And again, that plugin is free. So for those of you who had that, you were following along, you pretty much have the exact same sample or a similar sample to what I just created, simply because of the creative process. On the part where I was sitting with Edison right here and dragging the Edison menu back and forth to get all of the, the static transformer type sound, that was sound design. That's pretty much sound designing. I took that one hat, I took the harmonic content and the value of that file, I made it into that. And that sounds like something that would be on a Transformer movie, like maybe when the gun's reloading or something to that extent for that application. I hope you guys understood me right now. I was kind of rough in this last little part right here simply because I had something in my throat. For that, I apologize. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys take or learn something from this. Again, you can apply this to any sound. If you have any comments, please feel free to drop them below. I will go ahead and get back to you. Thank you all for tuning in. You have a great day.